Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Butter Dish. We have a very special guest with us today. This is Drina. She's been in group with us for quite some time. And I know that any of us that have been in group just love and appreciate her so much. She's this positive force in our group. She always has something real and honest to say, usually of the incredibly inspired nature that just saturates us with the joy that she experiences in life. And we come away from that taking a little piece of Drina and the sparkle that she offers the world in each of our everyday lives. And so I just want to welcome you and thank you so much for being with us and having a chat about your journey.
Yay.
Thanks, Emily.
Welcome, Drina. Hi.
Adek. Thank you, Cherish. It's such an honor to be here with you beautiful women. And that's such an amazing introduction. I really feel very special and privileged to be here, actually. So thank you for having me.
Would you like to go ahead and tell us about your carnivore journey?
Yeah, sure. So I had very fleetingly heard of carnivore probably about 1.5 years ago. And even though I have been a hardcore meat eater and lover all my life, I kind of, when I'd heard of it, it sort of actually, I'll be honest, it freaked me out. I thought, what? These people don't eat vegetables and they don't eat, you know, all the things that we're told that we should eat, carbohydrates. And then I had been personally myself cycling in and out of keto since 2019, February 2019. And about 6 months ago now, a dear friend of mine I caught up with since, hadn't caught up with her since I think our 30s, so probably about 10, 15 years before I'd caught up with her previously. She had mentioned to me in our catch up, because we had both shared a keto journey, she actually said to me, have you tried carnivore? So I actually thought, well, you know, what I really want is to have great health. And I was already back at that point where I was feeling sick and tired of falling back into the SAD diet, the standard American diet, standard Australian diet. You know, American have this kind of gold standard that
it's all sad, right? Standard American, standard Australian.
Very sad.
Mm-hmm.
I know, and we all tend to follow that suit. So, you know, so I kind of always had in the back of my mind as well this information that's been circling out there, that especially being female and getting to your 40s, especially mid-40s onwards, you really want to establish really good hormonal balance and diet as much as you can, because it does become more of a struggle to lose fat. Often people refer to that as weight loss, but the reality for us is we don't want to lose weight in general, because what can that be? That can be muscle, and we don't want to do that. We want to keep our muscle, but we want to lose the excess fat that we don't need. So this was always in the back of my head, and I just thought, well, yeah, this is the time. You know, I know I'd kind of been in pre-diabetic states, and that is not fun. You don't want to go there. And I just thought, well, this is it. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try it. And it just happened that when I really sort of searched carnivore on YouTube, the first few videos that really popped up were Steak and Butter Gal, Bella, our beautiful Bella, who has helped us all meet each other and created these carnivore challenge groups.
Yes.
Put this massive international community together, which started off with, I believe, 10 of her friends just over a year ago. It's just grown unbelievably. And also Kelly Hogan from My Zero Carb Life, I think is her channel, and Dr. Ken Berry. So 3 great American people on their own personal journeys and backgrounds and histories, all varied. You know, it just started to make sense to me when I was listening to their, you know, personal experiences and their scientific facts from Dr. Ken Berry. Thank you very much. So it just made sense. I thought, let's do it. Let's get into this. And I'm 3 months in now from around around Halloween, October last year. I really went, let's do it, because I'm about to start the challenge group again in November. So, you know, for all intents and purposes, I say, yep, from November onwards, I've been pretty much strictly carnivore. And I'm just finding my health is just getting better and better.
Phenomenal. You're really, if you're counting from November, December, we're recording in February, you're really only about 3 months in, you know, which is fairly new in the carnivore journey. And we're trying to remember that this adaptation takes a long time. And this is not a quick fix. This is not learning a flipping a switch in any way. It's a completely different mindset focus and completely different focus on how we go about our day-to-day food and food prep and everything. But this is in a very short period of time. So tell us about some of the changes that you've noticed as you're into your journey.
Sure. So one of the things that I had experienced before was intermittent fasting, and anyone from the keto community would know about that. And one of the things that I found really helpful, which I kind of dove straight into as well, was Coach Raymond, who is one of the amazing men and leaders in our community online there, has developed a really beautiful and healthy and steady approach to getting great health through his method of fasting, which he calls feasting and fasting. And the impetus in that, the initial phase of that is a really important phase called priming. So the idea behind that is to really saturate the hormones in our bodies and our bodies through and through with really nutritious food, which is all the carnivore food, before going on and actually experiencing the fasting. And the beauty of it is you don't need to compare your body to anyone else's. How much you eat is dictated by your hunger and satiety cues, and it's really a unique and individual journey. And that's what I've really loved from the get-go, and knowing that I can honor my body and trust my body. And for whatever reason, if I wasn't ready for that journey of continuing in the fasting element, I wouldn't have. And I really encourage anyone who's starting off to, and in the challenge group, to listen to the coaches and their wisdom, but also listen to your own body and what you need. And so what I've really loved and noticed is that I have gained a new respect for eating this way and understanding how healthy it's making me. My reasons why I started carnivore, other than to get rid of the excess fat and obesity that I'm still dealing with, was actually to deal with my gut health and my mental health, which the two are intrinsically linked. And I believe there's more dopamine or serotonin that's actually developed in the gut than in the brain. Again, there's a lot of science and knowledge behind, looking into the gut brain connection that's been out there for a while now, and it just keeps developing. More and more information keeps coming to light. And so some of the things that I definitely have noticed in the 3 months is that I have actually started to feel less and less depressed and anxious. The OCD that I have also been diagnosed with and lived with. So I'm diagnosed with anxiety, OCD, and major depressive disorder. And so that for me has been massive in itself. And to be honest, I noticed the shift like very quickly, like within days. And, those things are still there. I'd never go as far as to say I'm cured of those things, but the fact that it can be such a big and overwhelming voice, and it just becomes like this little thing that you can really manage on a day-to-day basis, rather than this huge monster that's just overwhelming and consuming your everyday life. I've noticed that my skin has just been really clear and healthy. There's so many changes. Like I'm seeing this thing that we call body recomp, where just like the shape of the body really goes into more of a natural human shape. So I'm starting to see that definition in my waist, around my ribs and my back, my thighs, my arms, my legs, like everywhere. The body has started to. Yeah, the face, that's right, the neck. I'm starting to get my lovely long neck, which I was always, I was recognised for that when I was a younger dancer. My teacher always used to say, "Oh, look at her neck, lovely long neck." Lady, so, these things of elegance and things that stood out to her were important. And I thought, oh, well, I've got a neck, but that's nice, thanks. But these are the things that really do start to pop out. And, I'm sure there's more what we call non-scale victories that I probably haven't even mentioned. I've just forgotten them. They're not like right on the top of my head, but definitely just feeling more energy, less bowel problems, because I also live with diverticulosis and IBS, which I've had since I was a young child. So I'm just feeling so much healthier and more balanced in my body. And whenever I've been to see my chiropractor, who is actually the most highly educated chiropractor in all of Australia, and she actually teaches and guides other chiropractors. And not only is she a chiropractor, she's a naturopath and a nutritionist. And she went back to university for another 8 to 10 years and studied women's health medicine and women's reproductive health. And so she's actually allowed to call herself a hormone expert as well. And one of the things that she picked up as I've been on this journey, she just looks at me, she goes, "Oh my God, this diet for you is amazing." And like, she's like, "Look at you, you're just getting smaller." And, you know, my inflammation, she noticed within 6 weeks, my inflammation in my body had gone right down. I'm having less joint pain. That's the other thing. I'm currently still healing from a very current knee injury that only sort of happened about a week and a half ago. But already I'm feeling so much better, and the inflammation has gone down significantly to the point where I had a whole day where I didn't even need to ice it because it was just not there. I do have a massage therapy background as well. So I've actually been doing manual lymphatic draining on it too, which has been really nice just to help all that healing process. But yeah, the chiropractor, she was able to back up all my anecdotal evidence and experience of, you know, the 3 months. Now it's been a whole month where when she's gone through and done all the adjustments, she muscle tests me at the end and my hand stays strong. It doesn't move down. So my liver's functioning great now. And it wasn't at the start, but we do see that when people start sometimes on this journey of carnivore, is that, you know, sometimes it might sort of affect your pancreas or your liver or something because you're adjusting to maybe eating fats differently, the animal fats differently, or whatever it is in your own body that's getting, you know, going through an adjustment. So yeah, she's really happy with my progress, and I'm ecstatic. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm really happy, actually, guys.
I think it's
Phenomenal.
wonderful that
Yeah.
you're teaching her through your own journey. Like, you're giving her an education. She's seeing the evidence. And it's this very similar story, ladies, that we see on YouTube, where a lot of these doctors, all of a sudden they have one patient and then they jump on board and they're all in. So you might be that zero patient that gets your chiropractor to start spreading the good news about, hey, this might be the way for you. I love it.
You never know.
Yeah. Well, and
Absolutely.
she's a powerful force in the health space. Look at everything that she's accomplished. She is this incredible, accomplished, you know, expert in so many areas. And now she's seeing Drina on carnivore, and she's kind of blown away. You're blowing away the experts right now.
Exactly. And, you know, the great thing about her as well is that even though she may not be, she does like a paleo keto lifestyle dietary herself. So, you know, she understands. This is the thing. She may not fully be on board herself personally for doing carnivore, but she sees the importance of eating meat. And when she has, because a lot of women come to her with infertility issues, and when they come to her clinic, if they are actually vegetarian or vegan, she very strongly suggests that they add meat back into their diet because she understands the importance of it. Fantastic. And she goes, I understand it, because she herself at one point did a bit of vegetarianism, so she understands it, but she also understood very quickly that it wasn't healthy. It wasn't the penultimate way of eating that brought like complete holistic health. So the meat's important. She knows that.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, my libido's gone up a bit.
Oh, you don't say. Oh,
yeah. I do.
Partner's happy.
I do have to say, like with the hormonal balancing and everything, we do see that, because, you know, all the different hormones, whether they be female or male in your respective bodies, they're all important. So getting them balanced is massive. And, you know, not only does it have a huge impact on your sex life, your libido, but like imbalancing actually the rest of the body and the way it's meant to be functioning. I do have to say, though, I never really had an issue with libido, but, you know, it's gone.
I can tell that you are a goddess in that area.
I'm very sex positive, and I always have been. So, you know, Yeah.
I love it. No, I love it. And I think that just, it's the healing.
Yeah, what I love about Drina is when she chimes in the meetings, it's just reminding us every time that it's okay to be you, you know, and whoever you are, you're beautiful. And that just, you know, it touches me every time you say that.
And I just want to say, like, this is the fantastic thing, like, especially if you're someone new to carnivore, like, just understanding that often there'll be things that you really need to troubleshoot, and you might not even understand, like, you may already have an understanding of what illnesses and what your health background is up to this point. But when you do invest and commit to carnivore, just be prepared that, you know, things are going to come up both medically, physiologically, psychologically. And so it's actually really important to try and get as much information as you can, both scientific, but also anecdotal from people in the respective carnivore communities, because everyone has a story to tell, and you'd be hard pushed to find someone who who you don't resonate with on some level in regards to your physical and mental health. And so this is one of the major things that has actually really supported me, is you beautiful shining women and the rest of the community, because we all come together and we share and we're real. And, you know, people cry, they cry happy tears, they cry sad tears because of the pains and the sufferings that they're still going through, because, you know, we can't go into this type of lifestyle and dietary way of being and eating expecting that things are just going to be a quick fix. You know, if you've been quite unhealthy and how long you've been unhealthy for coming into it, just understand you've got to have patience, you've got to have a lot of self-love and compassion and care, and that if you open up and share what I call the good, the bad and the ugly, and connect in with, like, you know, a group like Bella's, this monthly carnivore challenge group, then you do get the support, you do get you know, maybe a bit more insight into yourself and your own health, and what might work for you, what you might need to tweak dietary wise. And certainly it's not a hard and fast rule in regards to what meat you eat. You know, some people can have a bit of dairy, whether that's a bit of butter and a bit of, you know, whatever it is, a bit of cheese. Some people just can't. And, you know, it's a different kettle of fish again. If you've got autoimmune things going on, things that are like, you know, the histamines, like having the dry aged beef or particular bone broth or whatever, you can't always just eat those things. So you really kind of got to make it your own journey while you're connecting in with others, getting the support and the information, and just sort of, you know, finding out what works for your body and what doesn't. And I think having a varied diet, especially when you're first starting out, is great, unless you know already that there are certain foods that you just can't eat. Then clearly you've got to remove them to let your body function better and start to repair and heal. The deep healing is the magic of carnivore diet.
Oh my God.
Do you like to eat
Look, absolutely. And, you know, I feel blessed because I come from a Croatian family. Both my parents are Croatian. So Europeans tend to have this great, you know, time of connection around eating. So eating's always been a really happy, positive experience for me from the time I was little. I don't know, I shared this with you, with women previously, is like, you know, from the time I was 6 months old, my eyes were like, what are the animals eating? I want that, you know. So I was breastfed until I was 6 months old, but then mum by and by just kept giving me the meats and the meat heavy foods that I grew up on. I still love. So, you know, things like pig's trotters, so pig's feet, which I ate for breakfast this morning and absolutely loved it. I slow cooked them for probably about, I think, 8 to 10 hours. So I started them in the late evening last night and then just got up at like 5 o'clock this morning and ate them at 6. I eat sometimes organs. Again, from a young age, I've been eating things like lamb brains, pig brains. Dad used to get like lamb and pig on a spit for special occasions, and I'd go out there and, you know, be with him while he was cooking all that great stuff, everything from the lovely crackling of the pig to the pig's brain. And I know these things can really freak people out. And look, if you're new to eating offal and organs, you know, it's something you don't have to dive into straight away, but you could, and as often the case, people find that their palate changes. So what you used to like, you no longer like. But yeah, for me, it's everything. I'll eat poultry, I'll eat, you know, duck and chicken, I'll eat beef, lamb, seafood, all the shellfish, I eat personally some of the hard cheeses, like really good Parmigiano Reggiano or something like that. And I eat a bit of soft goat cheese from an older couple who have their own little permaculture farm that's been going for over 15 years. So that's been fantastic, getting a bit of goat's milk from them and the goat's cheese that they make. Bone broths, I love my bone broths. Yeah, so there's lots of I eat everything really. I'm not a fussy eater. I eat lamb's brains, I eat a bit of kidney, a bit of liver. So, you know, I mean, I've tried.
Our nose to tail.
I do. Nose to tail. Yeah, nose to tail. That's right. Yeah.
I was going to ask you if you eat liver, because liver is associated. Dr. Barry brought this out in his community one time, that liver does help the libido.
Oh, it does.
Oh, I thought it was just oysters.
I don't know, maybe.
I thought it was just
all these men on his Monday Night Live were all swearing by liver.
By liver.
Yes, and one of our members also mentioned that his libido had gone up, and I asked him straight up, "You eating liver?" Yeah.
Oh, it's the liver.
There might be a connection. I'm just saying.
That's funny, Cherish, because I don't eat liver that often, but I think it still comes down to like getting that hormonal balance, like it, you know, something. Yeah. But I mean, it's not that I'm not fond of it. It's just it's kind of one of the latest, like more latter things that I'm sort of drawn to. But every now and then I go, oh yeah, I wouldn't mind a bit of liver. And I just get it and chop it up and I fry it. I've done a pate with it. But and chicken liver's more than beef liver. I have to say I haven't quite got the taste for the beef liver, but I'm going to try it again. I will revisit it. So I'll see how I go with that.
Have you tried calf's liver? It's sweeter than beef liver. Maybe you try it.
Yeah. That's a good point, actually, Adek. I think I'll try that next.
Let us know what happens to your libido after you eat it.
All right. I'll have to come to Matt as well. I'll be like, hey, lover.
Oh, you just have to look that way. You just have to look like that. It's fun.
Something I'm curious about is that you had mentioned your relationship with food, and you had mentioned maybe some disorders, something like that. Can you describe to us where you were coming from and how that's feeling for you now?
Oh, sorry, with disorders, did you say?
Anything like that, just your relationship with food. Like we heard a lot about your early love, your relationship with meat, and that was such a foundational story for you. And so I'm curious about how your relationship with food, if you've noticed changes, what was the picture like? How has that journey been for you?
Yeah, so that's a good point actually, Emily, because we do talk about that in our carnivore community is food freedom. So I myself personally don't relate with the stereotypical thing that unfortunately a lot of young girls and women go through with different eating disorders. But the thing is, just being human and being on diet, the standard American diet, which is global at this point, eating that way, definitely, I think most people have experienced some form of, you know, even if it's on the odd occasion, like binge eating, because they just don't have the satiety. They don't have that satiety, and eating the carbohydrates and the sugars, your body is just getting that signaling hormonally to, like, you know, I want more, because it doesn't really reach a point of satiety that makes you overall happy and switch off that part of the brain that's saying, you know, not full, which is ridiculous because you've probably eaten, you know, 2 or 3 bowls of pasta by that stage, which I could have easily done in the past when I wanted to eat pasta. And that's why I often didn't eat it. I would kind of turn it away because I'd be like, no, I can cook up a whole half kilo of pasta and just eat it to myself. And it is funny because it would feel gross, but it's like you can't stop because that satiety button never gets hit properly. So it's you know, definitely. And I think this is the thing we talk about is having food freedom. For me, it took about 2.5 weeks. So 2.5 weeks into November. I know. And I think the reason that happened so quickly for me is because I have been fat adapted in the past before, having done paleo in 2014 and then cycling in and out of keto. So for me, but I don't think I'd ever really completely experienced food freedom where you just no longer, occasionally a little bit in keto, because I didn't tend to hit the keto snacks the way a lot of people do. I really say there's nothing like it when you go carnivore. Even if you were to try carnivore for yourself, eating the foods that you are most comfortable with, whether it's just chicken and eggs and butter or whatever it is, bacon, that's carnivore food, good carnivore food, you will notice by the end of that month, definitely, that you no longer have that addiction to the sugar and the carbohydrates. So this food freedom is a very real experience. And what it means is that you don't obsess over food. You don't go through your day going, oh, what's my next meal going to be? Oh, I wouldn't mind getting that chocolate, or maybe I'll get the large block of chocolate, but I'll eat a few bars and then put the rest in the cupboard. And then when everyone else goes to bed, I'll pull it back out and finish the rest. You know, like these things kind of leave your head because you no longer are seeking out the things that, you know, for want of a better phrase, like, you know, guilty pleasure kind of a stuff. And stuff that keeps people in this emotional eating cycle, which is, I think, the big thing that any human can relate to, even more the disorders aside. It's more the emotional eating. And so, and so this is the interesting journey as well, is the psychological one, not just the physiological changes you go through, but the actual way that your brain can still trick you, especially if you're coming from significant mental health background history. Often people will turn to food when they're stressed or depressed, you know, so it's actually quite freeing to know that you can sort of tell yourself, well, actually, am I really hungry? You know, and what's the thing that Raymond and you guys often say?
Is it the knock at the door?
Or the church bell.
Or the church bell.
Yeah, exactly. Is it really hunger, or is it just kind of like a
Suggestive.
you know,
Suggestive.
that's it, Cherish, the suggestive hunger. Am I really hungry? Could I sit down? You know, I'm thinking about chocolate or that slice of cake that I had my eye on, but the reality is am I actually really hungry? If I was really that hungry, could I sit down and eat a piece of steak instead of the cake?
Yes.
And if that answer is no, then no, you don't really, you know, so it can take a little journey to get there psychologically, not just, you know, physical stuff that you go through with the change of diet. It's also understanding how your brain's working, how it used to work, and shifting that perspective of the way that you are now relating to food, and whether you need to fall back into, you know, grabbing a chocolate bar, and because it can be ritualistic as well. Sometimes people have come from this background of what they've considered eating healthy and, you know, having their salads and the meats and the things quite balanced or whatever, but then it's like, but every Saturday they treat themselves to like cake or chocolate. So, you know, it's also sometimes that habit breaking. So, you know, they say it takes like 33 days to change a habit, and then it takes another 66 days to maintain it. So you do have to be patient with yourself and realize it might not be a perfect journey. And I've certainly gone through that. So it's not always been like, oh, look, I've done that perfectly. Woo. And the great thing we see by and by in our carnivore community is that, you know, you don't have to be perfect. You've just got to be accountable and realistic, and just realize, hey, the next step forward is just another meat meal.
Think about it. Like if we said it takes 33 days, and let's say somebody decided to join a community for 30 days, you're right in that ballpark of how much it takes to kind of break that initial habit. This is a wonderful thing to do for yourself. But I do, when we say a 30-day challenge, I do kind of wish we could somehow talk people into a 90-day challenge because of exactly what you're talking about. Because you start, you know, just getting that habit out, and then it takes a couple months to really build. And so that's just wonderful. I love how you were kind of laying out that pattern for us. Thank you.
Really solidify. I think that's important, because, you know, anyone can commit to like just a 30-day challenge, but then what can happen is if you haven't really gone through more of that in-depth you know, gone into your own psyche and depth a bit more, it's easy just to go, oh, I'm good now, see you guys, thanks for that. And it's not that you're being flippant or anything, but then you think, cool, I'm ready to go. But I think the reality is a lot of people probably wouldn't be ready to just go off on their own. So this is the beauty of having this type of a group and community situation set up so beautifully the way it is, because it means that, you know, people are less scared to chime in and just be accountable and honest about, oh, guys, this is what happened and I feel dreadful. And everyone will go, no, you don't need to feel like that. Just absolutely love yourself and see the lesson in it, and just know that, hey, the next meat meal and bone broth and, you know, egg pudding is right there, so I don't have to worry. I've got this.
So good.
One of the things that I love about the community is the fact that you can, you know, tweak the challenge to challenge. It doesn't always have to be, you know, something so specific to just all in carnivore, right? That certainly is the main goal. Everybody wants to be all in carnivore, but you can tweak it. Like we have a bunch of members right now doing a no dairy February, you know, so catchy, kind of rhymes, you know. Some folks do beef only. Some folks, for whatever reason, you know, sometimes it's medical, they can't, they're fins and feathers only. So I just love that we can all kind of like tweak our own journey and see how it works out for us and share that. And you certainly are very good at that. Like you are always in there cheering folks on, and I love that. That's why it feels like you've been there forever, because you're just like so bubbly and so wonderful. I could talk about you all day.
Oh, such a gem. Thank you. Thank you. It's really kind. And, you know, all I can say is it's just mirrors. Like I'm just a reflection of, you know, what you see in me. It's also in you. So, you know, just reflected back and people actually saying it. There's a lot of power in acknowledging other people. And I certainly get a lot of energy and good vibrations by loving and supporting people. So me actually uplifting other people uplifts me. That brings me joy. Also my beautiful partner Matthew, who's been through a lot with me with my mental health journey over the years, and 100% supports me, even though he's not carnivore. He still eats all the meats and things that I cook him, and we both love meat. We're big meat lovers, so that was never going to be an issue in this house. And my cats, just on cue, Miso's like, I am here, I want to put my tail and my face and everything.
Oh my gosh.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh, those eyes.
Beautiful.
You, Drina.
He's such a good.
He heard the question.
He is a very emotional, energetic feeling person. So you're talking about joy. This guy is it. You know, when I've been depressed, this guy's just lifted me right up. I'll be sitting here crying, and he just walks up and he licks the tears off my cheek, and he pushes me, he nudges me with his head. So he's been like a therapy cat. Yes, baby, that's you. Like you, me. So
is it me? It's miso, like the soup, miso.
Yeah, I gave him that name because he's got like he's the type of tabby that has the very thick. Yes, baby. He has beautiful thick stripes, and it reminded me of like a glorious looking miso soup. The way it can be all like the different colours in his coat reminded me of the soup, and he's very emotional and watery and soupy and delicious. So I was like, yep, that's me. So, but yeah, lots of things bring me joy. Going to the ocean brings me joy. I have a very special connection with the ocean, having being born and raised in Perth and always lived just 10 minutes from the coast. So to me, that's really special, just to be able to go and dive into the ocean and reconnect with the feminine divine and the ozone and energy and just beautiful feelings I get.
Do that every day, Drina?
I don't do it every day, but I at least once a week I get down to the ocean. So, you know, that's been really beautiful, especially in the summer. You know, more often than not, I'll go down a few times during the week. But yeah, just connecting with people, doing my therapy in the water, whether it be in the pool or the ocean, doing yoga, walking, being in nature. I love nature trails. I love hiking. I've always been a big hiker. When I lived in Melbourne between 2009 and 2011, I used to do the Capital City Trail 3 times a week, and that from where I was living and back home was a 36-kilometre walk. So I did that 3 times a week when I was studying and working part-time. But yeah, so there's a lot of little things. A lot of little things bring me joy as well. So yeah, just getting up and taking action, doing my housework, which sometimes I've really struggled with, but I'm finding more energy for. So, you know, making changes where I feel the remuneration from actually just completing a task or doing something, that makes me feel really good. So sometimes it's not like a big life-changing thing, but it's like just doing the little things. And
I can
getting
imagine
up and
how you felt before, just cleaning your house or something like that. It's a huge difference in how you feel about it when before carnival, perhaps. And yeah, I can relate to that. Have you ever thought of going to Croatia?
Oh, I'd love to. I'd absolutely love to. I've only been to Asian countries. I think simply because it's been more affordable in the past to get out to some of the beautiful Asian countries and visit those than to do a European holiday. But yeah, I think I would love to find a way sometime soon in the future, excuse me, to get to Europe and connect in with my relatives. My dad's got quite a huge family, so that'd be awesome to be able to go and see them and travel the coastline there. That'd be stunning. But yeah, and then I might be able to pop up and see you, Adek.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
We might have to hop on over just to join the party.
Let us know. The whole team will come.
What is one thing on your bucket list that you?
Yes, the Bibbulmun track is a 1,000 kilometre track in Perth, Western Australia that I'd love to do. But yeah, doing a European holiday is definitely on that list as well. But yeah, my love of hiking. There's and there's another one that's in Spain, the Camino Santiago. That's I think about the same length, and you go from the French Pyrenees all the way to the top of the northern coast of Spain. I'd love to do that trail as well, and stay in the, what do they call them, the refugios or something like that. The
Hostels or okay.
Yeah, like the little hostels that you can stay at along the way, and yeah, I love that. I think being able to hike trails is a great way to see a country. I'd love actually to do the American trails as well. Like there's the Appalachian Trail, I think, and
I mean, I think you better consider the Pacific Crest Northwest Trail. That's like it's 2 hours from me.
Oh, see, then we have to all go to Emily.
We'll do a detour, and then you can come and meet up with me at a little steakhouse or something.
For sure, exactly. I would love it.
Well, this has been wonderful. Let's wrap up with, if you could invite 3 famous people to dinner, who would it be and why?
Okay, well, I absolutely love Shirley MacLaine, and she, for the younger generation who aren't aware, is an iconic woman who I believe is in her 70s, maybe getting into her 80s now. She's an actress, but she was also a ballet dancer, academic, intellectual, very spiritual woman, just very interesting, has traveled the world, and from a young age, like she went when she was 16 years old on a ship from America to Russia, and I think that was based on her being young and into politics, so it was like a academic thing that she did. But yeah, I think she's a really fascinating woman, and her spiritual journeys have been really interesting. I've read 3 of her books. One of them, I think, is called Out on a Limb. That's a really good one. And I think there's another one that's called something like either You Can't Get There From Here, or You Can. I think it's You Can't Get There From Here. That's another really interesting one. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I think she's a real down-to-earth person who has, built herself up in the neighborhoods that she grew up with. She's very connected with people and community, which is a huge thing in this day and age. We really need people who are here for people and representing not just the majority, but the minorities who are often looked over, often due to racism and homophobia and misogyny, which, that stuff's got to go. And she's quite an activist as well. Like, she wants to see climate change, and she understands the importance of us doing what we can now for the planet, rather waiting for it to become an absolute disaster. So I think she'd be great to talk to, and absolute gem. And just because I absolutely love music, and I love this woman's journey and career as well, and such an amazing, talented woman, and a really lateral thinker as well, is Lady Gaga. So I think she's just such a force, and again, representing the LGBTQIA+ community, which I am also proudly part of, identifying as being a queer bisexual woman, and I've been out and proud since I was 18 years old. So I think it's fantastic having someone like that has, you know, the platform that she does and has been able to reach so many people and bring so much love and joy to people's lives and their hearts and go, you know, you matter. Regardless of how other people have put you down and not been there for you, you absolutely matter, and your journey is important and your existence is important, because there's too many people who lose their lives from not having love and community and support and respect and understanding, because they've just been felt like made to feel like they're not important, you know, had violence and assaults against them even, which is just disgusting. So everyone is important, everybody matters, and that's a big reason, actually, why I think all those 3 women would be amazing to meet and have dinner with. And sadly, I'm not sure that they're all big on meat, but I'd love to serve meat.
That's okay. We can try and convert them. It's fine.
That's right. It's fine. See, that's what Cherish says. It's no big. It's fine.
It's fine. Beautiful.
I just want to say, my little cup here says fierce female. You're not going to be able to see it properly.
Oh,
here it is.
Oh my gosh, that's lovely. That's you.
Okay.
It is.
My mum got me this as part of my Christmas present. I really do believe that the future is female and it's fierce, and I'm totally here for it.
Oh, wonderful.
Right. We need to get those cups, ladies.
Yeah, we do. Can we make them fierce fasting females?
There you go.
Fierce feasting.
You know
females.
what? I'm gonna put that on Canva. I'm gonna throw it on a mug. Done and done. Wait till you see it in Emily's store. Fantastic. Well, I can't think of a better way to wrap up. Thank you so much, Drina, for your time. We really appreciate it. We appreciate you and all the wonderful things you said. Please remember to like, subscribe, hit notifications. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
guys.